you beautiful beings made of light and love. Welcome to the Vulnerability Lab, day 2, where we will be covering compassion. My name is Crystal, and I am a sex, shadow, and soul guide. I am helping people safely find their path back to pleasure and making it a priority so that they can authentically live a badass life of design. Let's get started. Compassion. Compassion. I am actually teaching compassion today through asking y'all to practice compassion for me. I've had a wicked week, and I feel like I am showing up totally messy for, to be vulnerable and totally transparent. Right now, I feel totally messy. My emotional system's off. I feel super challenged. I'm dealing with my own blockages consciously with the tools that I know and that I have that serve me. But even though I'm here, helping people raise their own vibration and their awareness in this life and, take the path of empowering themselves safely and wholly to choosing pleasure and being fully in their consciousness, I still have my own challenges as well. So I feel vulnerably, I feel a mess today, and I ask for compassion. So if you have a moment of feeling like, hey, Crystal, pump up the volume, I ask for compassion, please. So let's get started on the teaching. And you might see my pups in the background, my lovely sources of compassion in this home. They teach me compassion. Animals teach compassion because there's no judgment. Compassion is really the opposite of ego and judgment. It says, I hold this, I hold space, I'm present for you, I'm present in this, and it's soft here. It's soft, it's a soft place for you to process and land, and I feel for you, with you. Not in a way where I'm gonna hold on to it and let it infiltrate my own life and make me challenged, blocked, or even feeling demonized, by holding someone else's energy, because that's a whole different thing. We have to protect our own energy systems, but we can open to people and ourselves and use compassion when we are challenged, unblocked, and feeling constricted in the body. And compassion truly is about not pushing away, not resisting what is happening, but it's acceptance, it's presence for what is happening, and a soft, loving, unconditionally loving presence. So what resists persists. If you're coming up against challenges, if you're coming up against shit just isn't going right, I want to encourage you to sink in with love, with unconditional love and compassion for yourself, and hold space. Give permission for yourself to feel fully what you're feeling. Be present with your feelings and don't judge them, because that's the tendency. Based on all of the conditioning that we carry, we have, that we've learned from our families in the past or our society, it's put us in positions where we have thoughts and feelings about ourselves that we don't give compassion to, we don't give acceptance to. We live in should and shouldn'ts. I should be this way, I should not be this way. I should have done that. I shouldn't have done that. And that's all conditioning, because everything is actually about the inner game. So if you're inside, going within, inside yourself, and you're feeling those constrictions and judgments that you're holding, well, I should be showing up for my partner like this, but I'm not. How about I'm not showing up for my partner like this? And I'm not doing that for a reason that maybe I'm not sure about. Maybe I don't fully understand why I'm not doing that. So let me have compassion for that piece, that part of me that wants to process something, that wants to be listened to, wants to be held, seen, honored, felt. Once we can drop into the feeling of something and be present with it and hold contact for it, this is practicing compassion. Compassion really connects with moving beyond the self, beyond the identity, beyond the ego, not ignoring the self, not putting the self away, definitely honoring the self, but moving now beyond, because there's limitations. You have yourself, and that's a whole different conversation, but you have yourself and there's an identity there. Now, what in that identity limits you from being fully available to someone else? So moving beyond that space for someone that you are working with or in your relationship with, in conflict with, or even for yourself, moving beyond the self-identified self. What more can you be? How much more can you be? How much more love can you practice? How much softer can you get? How much more accepting can you get? It's tapping into that interconnectedness and acknowledging the unity and that we are not separate, that we are all together here on this planet working through what we need to work through, and that truly we are no different from our brothers and sisters. I mean, we have our identities that separate us. We have media, conditioning that separate us, but at the core, we are all souls. We are all here playing the same game. And honoring that interconnectedness, holding space for each and everyone's journey as it is a practice of compassion. So as you're feeling that sadness and shame and constriction and blockage in your life, I want to encourage you to be present with that, to give it love. Ask it what it wants from you. Ask it what it wants for you. Have you ever done that? Have you ever felt something and said to it as a part of you, what do you want from me? And if I gave that to you, what would happen? Feel your feelings, y'all. I really want to encourage you to do that. Don't be afraid. Be brave enough to drop in. Use the skill of vulnerability to drop in to what maybe feels constricted, fearful, scary, and have compassion for yourself. And practice that for others when you're with them. This is what empowers us to actually be fully vulnerable. And once we are able to be vulnerable, pleasure is just on the other side of that. Making pleasure a priority is to be vulnerable. To be vulnerable is to practice contact and practice compassion. Some practices that you can use to be in compassion is, this one's big and it's loaded, but it's unconditional love. Google it. To love someone without conditions. Also, like I said before, practicing acceptance. And you can really tap into that when you get into your body. If you feel constricted in your body, you're not practicing acceptance and flow. You're practicing shutting down. Next, breath work. In whichever way you can. I love to do breath work by doing yoga. And Yoga is not just the practice of stretching and breathing. It is life practice, truly. Breath work, even if you are just doing the work when you're in a conversation with yourself or with your partners, you know, around expanding pleasure or who did the dishes or not, breath, breathe deeply. What that does to our physiology is, you know, so many studies and mind-blowing facts about how breathing literally gives more space, more life, more acceptance. Meditation, obviously. And I had a really great conversation with one of my colleagues last night, colleagues and dear friends, how journaling and meditating, and this friend has a background in psychology, trauma psychology. And it was so beautiful because she was sharing how the journaling and the meditating, maybe even at first, doesn't seem to be effective to what you're looking for. You're not actually seeing results. But slowly and surely, it is bringing the results to you. It is widening the gap or bridging the gap even. It's like one little brick at a time, like, or wood plank or whatever, you know, 1 meditation, 2 meditations, 3 meditations, 4 meditations, 5 meditations. All of a sudden, the bridge is built, the gap is closed, and you are in full on meditation station, and it's totally giving you these results of empowerment and peacefulness, the ability to practice unconditional love, compassion, vulnerability. So meditation and tapping into your inner consciousness, higher being is an incredible practice for compassion. And last thing that I want to share around this is I want to encourage you to play. Because play always opens us up to not being judgmental on ourselves. It takes us to that place where we're almost expecting to fail, because it's play. There's no judgment. Like if I fail and I'm just playing, then I can be easy on myself, which is what actually compassion is. To be easy on yourself, to be accepting of yourself. So practice play, y'all. Breath, meditation, practice play, unconditional love, contact. That's where we are on day 2. I'm so happy that you guys joined today. I have tomorrow, 5 p.m., also going to drop you some really yummy goodies, and we are going over, hold. I'm gonna hold the space if I keep saying hold. We are going over, and I'm gonna sing to you so that you keep staying entertained. Being easy on yourself. So I hope y'all are choosing pleasure and making pleasure a priority in your life. All of this vulnerability work this week is so that we can choose pleasure, because we deserve it, and our lives are ours to be had. You just have to make the choice. I have had a lot of pleasure today being present here with you. Thank you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow for being easy on yourself. Also, you want tickets to Path to Passion, you gotta check out this post, because it is the erotic event of the year, and it's virtual, and it's gonna be 2,000 people, rebels, misfits, revolutionaries, all, surrounding, dropping into pleasure and relentlessly choosing their vulnerability and their authenticity. And it is going to be a wickedly pleasurable event. So you are able to win some tickets if you share. And just look at the details in the post. All right, y'all. Aloha.